G'day mates, in today's video I'm going to kick off talking about the new Fortnitemares update. We have huge map changes, so much so that multiple teams have already swapped their drop spot coming into the Invitational. These map changes are massive. We also have RPGs coming back to the game, we have new mythic bosses, candy corn, a whole bunch of the crazy usual Fortnitemares stuff. We also have another leak that's pointing towards this season being the last season of Chapter 3, and next season we will go into a brand new chapter. Also at the end of today's video, I want to talk about the double movement. Is double movement software now bannable? Are you going to be banned for using this software? Make sure you stick around to the end of the video, because if this is true, a lot of players are going to get banned. Let's just jump into it. Let's kick off talking about the map changes, because there are a lot of them. So first off, we have the no sweat building that previously was at Coney, now moving to Sleepy, and Sleepy Sounds itself has now changed. It's now floating above the chrome, similar to the gas station down on the Kami split. This is a massive buff. Sleepy has gone from being one of the worst POIs on the map to, I don't want to say one of the best, but I mean, it's up there. You now have a 2-key vault, you have multiple blimps for mobility, you have more loot at the POI. It didn't get chromed. I think Sleepy is a really solid POI right now. That is going to massively change who drops there, because previously, if you saw in the last 2 Elite Cup finals on the weekend, we didn't even have a single team dropping North Sleepy on EU or NA East originally. Teams only went there when they realized no one else was going there because the drop was so awful. Also, we had the blimp at Tilted now, so the blimp has moved to Tilted from Shifty Shafts. This has created our first massive drop spot swap. Queasy and Vino are no longer going Shifty because there is no blimp. They were going to triple contest Shifty. We got to see how that played out on the NA East Elite Cup finals. It was Muzz's team, Larson's team, and Queasy's team going at it. It was pretty rough for all of them. I am not surprised at all that Queasy's team is choosing to move. They are now moving down to the pirate ship that has moved down towards Greasy. So that pirate ship that was near Rocky has now moved more to the west of Greasy. That is going to be their drop spot. It's a 2-key vault, crazy mobility, a whole bunch of loot. It's edge map, which if you guys don't know is how Queasy loves to play his tournaments. He loves to get surge by rotating in late behind other teams. Some IGLs like setting up mid zone on high big buildings and getting their surge tags. Queasy has always been an edge map IGL, so this is perfect for them. The last major map change is we have the reality tree is completely chrome. So the reality tree has even less loot now. Reality tree was already looking pretty bare. You couldn't rotate off it, so I don't think that's changed things too much. We also do have some more changes around at the new Shifty building with the new mythic boss in there, but that is only in public matches, not in competitive. As far as new items in the update, now none of these are in competitive. We have the RPG, but obviously it's the pumpkin launcher. We have the candy back in the game. We do not have the broomstick. I'm quite upset by this. The broomstick is one of my favorite items in the game, as you guys know. I was really excited to see that come into the Fortnitemares update. Hopefully it was going to go into competitive too, because it just spices things up, and then it wouldn't be in for the Invitational, I'm assuming. Thought it should be a bit of fun for arena, or at least maybe in pubs, but alas, there is no broomstick. We do have a brand new item though. It's this new wolf mythic. Basically, you go to certain POIs, you do a dance, and then it drops this wolf mythic. I'll show you some gameplay of it here. It's got some crazy abilities. It's melee based. You can jump in the air and do like a double jump and land. It's kind of cool. It's a bit of fun. It is unique. I've got to give Epic props for that. I never really like using melee weapons myself personally. Like whenever it was like, you know, you had the umbrella, you had the lightsabers, just any of the melee weapons just always have kind of felt clunky to me. I always like to still be able to build or at least shoot, but if you guys have fun with them, it's unique. I'm not going to rag on that. They obviously put a lot of effort into it. There is a brand new mythic boss as well over at Shifty now, the Inquisitor. It is in the basement. Be prepared. If you're playing no builds, it's going to be rough. He has an RPG and he throws fireflies. Obviously the RPG being the issue. If you can't build it off, it is quite annoying to fight unless you just stay up above him and shoot straight down. Again, he is not in competitive. This is not in competitive whatsoever, but it's a bit of fun in pubs. Now, I don't normally talk too much about cosmetics on this channel, and I have a very good reason. There are a whole bunch of free cosmetics you can get in the Fortnitemares update by doing the challenge, which is always cool, always a bit of fun, but it's what they're called that has people so excited. Fitzy Leaks pointed out the glider is called Everything's End. Something really bad is going to happen at the end of this season, and this fits into the whole narrative of this season being the last season of Chapter 3, and we're going to go into an entirely new chapter of Chapter 4, which, I don't know, me personally would be incredibly excited for that. Chapter 3 has been my least favorite chapter. I think a lot of people have the same sentiment. Epic just writing it off, starting again fresh with a new chapter would generate a lot of hype coming into Christmas, and I think would do wonders for the game. I'm not saying it's guaranteed yet. I'm gonna make another video in the next few days breaking down everything we know about Chapter 4 being right around the corner, but this just kind of adds a little bit more to it. There is even more evidence throughout the season. There is a lot pointing to this season being the last season of the chapter. Let's talk about the changes to double movement. And is double movement software now bannable? This has everyone freaking out. If you guys don't know, very simply put, double movement is the ability on mouse and keyboard to look one direction while running full speed at another. It changes the way mouse and keyboard can move diagonally. Controller players, you don't have to worry about this. There is no double movement for controller. You're already on 360-degree movement because of the joystick. But for mouse and keyboard players, this is a huge deal. And double movement has been a big revolution in how mouse and keyboard players can play the game. Previously, to get double movement, you would have to either use a Wooting keyboard, because it was built into the keyboard, or download free Wooting or Keys 2X software and change it that way. Now, Fortnite has turned it on in-game. You go to your settings, you turn it on, you adjust the diagonals. It is that simple. This is what we've been asking for since double movement came out. Double movement has been in Save the World this entire time. Fortnite has double movement built into Fortnite. They just never turned it on for the Battle Royale. And what we think has now motivated them to do this is a lot of pros were told they can't download their double movement software on the LAN PCs for the Invitational. A lot of them freaked out. This is a fundamental to how they play the game. It would mess up a lot of their muscle memory around building, around tarping, and just be a huge nuisance. So Fortnite has combated that by finally giving us in-game double movement. But a lot of pros have been saying it doesn't feel as good as the software they're using, or they're just not used to it, and a lot of them still want to use the software. But it turns out now we have a few people in the community like Boo pointing out that it is now bannable. Now, I am no longer in the closed competitive Discord. This sounds like that has been pushed from the closed competitive Discord and has been messaging that Epic has given out. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me though, because if you look at the original messaging that we got from Epic Games, double movement was allowed. They specifically said the spirit of our rules allow for players to reconfigure keybinds in a way that wouldn't be possible inside the game, including double movement on keyboards. Using these tools to automate multiple actions, e.g. mapping a single button to place multiple building structures, is not permitted. So macros are not allowed, obviously, making one button create like multiple outputs, so like a pickup macro. But double movement software is still allowed unless they've changed things. And I've got the new terms of service here. It says, using any kind of cheating device, program, or similar cheating method to gain a competitive advantage. But double movement software wouldn't constitute that because they've specifically told us it's not cheating. If double movement software is now cheating, Epic needs to make a specific statement on this. They need to put it in the blog post, they need to put it in the terms of service, they need to do something, because the majority of competitive keyboard players, I would say at least 80% competing at a high level, maybe even 90%, are using double movement software. Less of them will now begin to use it because it's in-game, but most of them will just stick to what's familiar and what's comfortable. There's no reason not to just stick to what you already know. If that is now all of them, that means like 50% of tier 1 and tier 2 pro players could be banned for this. So I really think Epic need to come out and make clear communication. Is double movement software now bannable, or is it going to continue to be allowed? Because if it's in-game, it doesn't give any kind of advantage you can't get through in-game. It's just a personal preference thing. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. In the same way that, you know, Razer Synapse or even SteelSeries GG, any of the software that you have to map your keyboard and mouse to just change the lighting is allowed, but you can use it for macros, but you're not allowed to use it for macros. You can't just say the software is or is not allowed, or if you're going to say that, you need to make it clear. Epic, please give us some clear communication on what is going on with double movement, because I don't want to see a massive portion of the player base banned when they're just using software that previously they were told they're allowed to use. Obviously myself, I use a joystick, if you guys don't know, so I play joystick on mouse and keyboard. I don't use double movement. This doesn't affect me at all, but I'd really hate to see a bunch of people get in trouble for doing something they thought was completely allowed. You guys know the deal. If you made it this far, you clearly liked it. Please chuck a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.